In this video, we'll talk about the effect of a specific supplier tax on price. That is, we have a tax on the suppliers, and we want to figure out what happens to the equilibrium price. So I have a demand equation, D of P is equal to minus 2P plus 200, and a supply equation, S of P is equal to 3P plus 50. And the question is, what effect does a tax of $5 per item on the supplier have on the equilibrium price? So since the tax is on the supplier, this tax only changes the behavior of the supplier, not the demander, that is the consumer. So we only have to worry about the supply equation. What effect does it have? Well, before the supplier was getting a certain price P, and now he's no longer getting that price P. He really is thinking of it as he's only getting P minus 5, because of that price he's going to have to pay $5 to the government. So from his point of view, P has changed to P minus 5. That's what he's actually getting after paying the government tax of $5. So the supply equation changes, and the new supply equation, I'll call it SN, N for new, is equal to 3 as before, but now P minus 5 instead of P plus 50. So that's the new supply equation. The demand equation doesn't change here, because the tax is on the supplier. At least the government's collecting the tax from the supplier. Okay, so now what I'd like to see is what the effect of this tax is, and so I need to understand the equilibrium price in both situations, this situation and in this other situation after the tax is imposed. So let's work on the pre-tax situation. So in the pre-tax situation, we solve for the equilibrium price by setting the demand equation equal to the supply equation and solving for P. So again, I add 2P to both sides, I get 5P, subtract 50 from both sides, get 150, and this gives me a price of 30. Okay, so now I look at what happens with the post-tax situation. After the tax has been applied, the demand is still the same, minus 2P plus 200. But now the supply is 3 times P minus 5 plus 50. And now I solve this for P to determine what the post-tax equilibrium is. So let's solve this. I get, getting rid of the parentheses, I get minus 15 plus 50 equals minus 2P plus 200. And now I add 2P to both sides. I get 5P. And then minus 15 plus 50 is going to be equal to 35. So I get a plus 35 here. And then I subtract 35 from both sides, and I'll get 165 on the left and 5P. So P will be equal to 165 divided by 5. So I can do a little arithmetic on the side. 5 goes into 16 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. And then 15, so I get 33. Okay, so that tells me that the price, the new price, is 33. It had gone up from 30 to 33. So this is the pre-tax equilibrium and the post-tax equilibrium. Okay, so who is bearing the brunt of this tax? Well, from the point of view of the consumer is paying $3 more. So consumer pays extra $3 because the price got bumped up. And how much is the supplier paying? Well, the supplier is paying $5 to the government, but some of that loss is offset by the fact that now the price is $3 more. So in effect, the supplier is really only losing $2 because of this tax. $3 of it was shifted onto the consumer.